Hey guys, welcome back. So today I filmed my very first prom look. I know prom for some people is like right around the corner, so I wanted to get this up just in case you wanted to go out and get some items that maybe I used or anybody that is using for their prom tutorials. I did try to use affordable things. Now everything wasn't drugstore, but I did use Morphe on my eyes and Colourpop on my eyes and L'Oreal on my eyes. Those are like basically the only affordable things I used just because I know the eyes are what people focus on for prom. So I figured that you could use all of your own like face makeup and stuff. So I did everything kind of affordable for my eyes. Also, I want to warn you that this is a full face of makeup. I did not go light on the makeup. This is prom. You want to make sure you are looking your best. And I'm not saying you have to use all the makeup that I did, but I did do a full face of makeup. I beat my face. So I'm just warning you right now. So if you would like to see how I created this prom look, then just keep watching. Alright, so starting off your makeup, you're going to want to prime your face. I primed mine off camera. I used my Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer, and then going right into my foundation. I am using the Too Faced Born This Way. I am in the shade Tan, and I am using this Shop Sela brush. It looks like an artist brush. These brushes are so amazing. I will leave the link down below for these, and they are way cheaper than the artist brushes, and they are like literally the exact same thing. So I'm just blending it all over my face with the biggest brush that they had in the kit, and just making sure that everything looks nice and flawless. And then going in with my eyes, I'm priming my eyes with a paint pot. This is the soft ochre paint pot. You always want to make sure, especially before you're going out to like a big outing that you're going to have makeup on for a while, you want to make sure that you're going to prime your eyes so your eyeshadow stays on the longest, and then set it with a powder. And then going in with my Morphe 35N palette and this kind of cool toned brown shade, I'm just taking my Sigma E40 blending brush and I'm blending it into my crease and into my upper crease as my transition shade. I am going to go in with a kind of warmer color later, but I did want it to be kind of cool tone in the crease just for the beginning, so I don't know why, I just did. So I'm just blending it in windshield wiper motions, making sure that everything is nice and blended. You do not want to have any harsh lines, you want to make sure it's all blended. So going in with a kind of warmer toned right here and a smaller crease brush, I'm just putting this more densely into the crease. Now, you want to make sure that when you're putting this in, you're turning your brush sideways after you have all of the product placed there to make sure that everything is seamlessly blended together. Once again, you do not want to have any harsh lines. Harsh lines are not cute, not cute. After that, I'm going to go in with this L'Oreal shade. I will leave the name of it down below. I can't remember what it is, but I love the consistency of it. It's not like a powder, but it's not a cream, so it's just extremely, extremely pigmented. And I'm just putting this on the lid because we are going to put a golden shade on later, but I want to make sure that you are able to see it nice and pigmented. So I'm putting this on and then taking my blending brush just to make sure that all of the edges are nicely blended. Okay, going into a even more darker brown shade, I'm just going to be taking this on a Sigma pencil brush, and I'm putting this only into the outer V and then a little bit into my crease. So I'm putting most of the product into the outer V, and then I'm dragging into the crease what I have left over, so barely anything. And I do go back in with my blending brush. This is the Sigma E25. Just making sure that all of the edges are seamlessly blended together, and I go back and forth between these two brushes multiple times because you want to make sure everything is seamless. So going back in with that brown shade, I want to make sure it is nice and deep. Going back in with that same pencil brush and that same dark brown shade, putting it on top of the exact same spot we had it, and then putting a little bit into the crease, and then I'm going to go back in with my E25 blending brush to make sure that everything is well blended. And then once again, going back into my E40 brush, making sure that all of the edges up at the top are nicely blended. And I did add a little bit of a warmer color brown. I don't know why it wasn't in that clip, but it was just a warmer one in that shade. And then once again, going back in with that L'Oreal shade, just because it got a little bit dark from that brown eyeshadow, making sure it is nice and bright. And then once again, you got it, blending it with my E25 blending brush to make sure everything is nicely blended. And then going into this Colourpop eyeshadow in the color Cheap Date. I love this color. It's a nice golden color, but it has nice, not glitter, but kind of a glittery kind of pigment into it, and I'm just putting it right on that spot where we had that white eyeshadow, and I'm just using my fingers. And then once again, going back in with that darkest brown eyeshadow, kind of blending the two of them together and making the look a little bit more dark. And then taking my E25 blending brush from Sigma, making sure that all of my edges are nicely blended. As you can see, Sigma, I have used tons of Sigma brushes. Sigma brushes are absolutely amazing. I would definitely recommend these. They give a flawless application of eyeshadow because the brushes are so great. Going in with my Sigma Wicked Gel Liner and my Sigma EO6 eyeliner brush, I'm just drawing myself a nice wing. I didn't want to make it too big because I didn't want the wing to be the most intense part. I wanted the focus to be on the eyeshadow and the smokiness of the eyeshadow. Going in with my Benefit Roller Lash Mascara, giving myself a couple of coats. And I am going to be going in with false lashes. Obviously, you do not have to. So after I have this eyeliner on, I decided to go back in with that dark brown shade and darken up the look even more because now I knew where I could put the dark shadow because I had the eyeliner on. So I am, as I said, going to be going in with false lashes. You definitely do not have to, but I highly, highly recommend them just because I personally think they completely transform the face. And then going in with my Becca under eye brightener. I'm just putting this everywhere where I have darkness. I wanted to make sure that my under eyes, if I was going to prom, everything is completely covered. So I'm going in with this brightener first, and then I'm going to be going in with my concealer. I am using a high coverage concealer because I wanted everything to look flawless. This is the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer, and I'm using it on one of the Shop Stila brushes, which once again I will leave in the description bar, and I'm just blending it in. After I have that, I do go in with my Makeup Forever sculpting palette, and I take the lightest shade because it is a little bit more high coverage, so I'm just putting it kind of on top but not too much because I don't want to be too cakey. And then I do go in with my beauty blender in a couple minutes and I make sure everything is nicely blended. But first I am taking up this cream bronzed color to make sure that everything is nicely dark because I do like to make sure I'm using cream products when I am going to be dancing and sweating and being hot and having the makeup on for a long time. So I like to make sure that I use cream products so it stays on longer. And then setting my concealer, and everywhere I put that lighter color, I'm using my Mercier translucent setting powder. This powder is amazing. It is one of my all-time favorites. And then I'm going to be setting my face with the Makeup Forever HD powder. I love this powder because it somehow makes my pores just look so tiny. And then going in with that deep brown eyeshadow once again. I'm just going to finish off my lower lashes. I'm just putting this on the very, very outer corner. If you put it only on the outer corner, it's going to make your eyes look bigger on the outside, which is just a very pretty feminine look. And then just taking a blending brush and blending away. And then taking that same white color by L'Oreal, I'm just going to be highlighting my inner corners just because it is kind of a cream product. It will stay for a longer period of time than just a normal eyeshadow would. And then going in with my mascara and just giving myself a couple of coats, concentrating the mascara on that outer corner. And then going in with the Urban Decay bronzer in the color bronze, I'm taking my F23? I think it's F23 brush and just bronzing up the perimeter of my face and kind of putting it everywhere that we put that cream bronzer, kind of just setting it in place. As we all know, I like to be very bronzed around the perimeter of my face, so that is what I am doing. You definitely do not have to do that, but I think that looks most flattering on my face. And then taking the F77 brush from Sigma and just contouring my nose, and then going in with blush. This is Nars Luster Blush and a Sigma contour brush, I think, and just putting it all over my cheeks. I decided not to go on with cream just because I had already set everything with powder, and this blush usually lasts a pretty long time for me as well anyways. And then going in with my What's Up highlighter by Benefit. This is a cream highlighter. I wanted to glow all night and make sure it was all glowy, so I decided to go in with the cream. And then for my lips, I am going in with this Kylie K Candy K liquid, no, not liquid lipsticks, just the lip liner, and then going in with Dolce liquid lipstick by Anastasia. Alright, so that is the finished makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think this look would go great with any colored dress, which is why I picked warm browns. And obviously you can change the lip up to whatever lip you want. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.